All right. So we're going to start on the hands and the knees. And we're just going to start with the wrist activity. Let me get a little bit of music going. So a little bit of movement for the wrists. And you can just start kind of playing around with some wrist movement on your own if you like. And as always, we coordinate the movement with the breath. So you're on your hands and knees and you start to move into your wrists forward and back. I'm just kind of doing this a few times. And then just holding center and then flipping the wrists so that your fingers are pointing toward your knees and you're on the backs of your hands. So your palms are up and your fingers are going to be spread really wide. So stretch out your thumbs and try to straighten out your arms as you move as far back and bend your wrists and then come out of it a little. And do that just a few times just to work into your right wrist, left wrist, and just kind of open that up a little bit. Beautiful. All right. So let's release, shake that out a little bit, and come into your fingertips. So you're going to do this kind of fingertip press. So your palms are going to come up and you're going to press forward into your fingers and back. And try that one more time. Just moving into the fingers very gently. Don't do anything too difficult. All right. So we're going to curl those toes and come back into your feet and just squat into your ankles. And then come forward and point your toes and then come back and squat or lift into your shins in the front of your feet. And we're going to try that one more time. So you're going to come back, flex your toes, your feet, squat back, stretching the soles of your feet and your heels. Nice. And one more time, tops of your feet are coming down and press. Beautiful. Now we're just going to come into a little cat and cow. And again, this is just moving energy throughout the spine. So we're inhaling and exhaling. And, just kind of play around, feel around, really opening up through the breath. So when you guys are dropping your belly like this, see if you can fill up the very bottom where the pelvis is. Stretch it and breathe it. And when you come up, see if you can stretch into the shoulder blades and into that low back. And just try that one more time. Again, just moving energy here. And we'll hold that cat stretch. And hold a cat stretch while you go into a downward dog. So we're just going to do this cat stretch, downward dog. And then ripple the spine down and forward. And come into this cow pose. So you're going to arch the back and hold that cow pose as you go into downward dog. And just feeling that more in the hamstrings. And we're going to do that one more time. So we're not holding it really long, just coming through and coming into that cat stretch through the back. Hold the cat stretch, go into downward dog. See if you can go into the back a little bit more. And then come down on the knees again and come into that cow pose. So really arching that lower back and through the hips and hold that as you go into downward dog. All right, now we're going to hold this and widen the back. So widen the shoulders, spread your back right to left, and pedal out your heels. So your right leg is going to straighten, left knee bends, and then do the same on the other side. Now, if your heels comfortably touch the floor with straight legs, they both can press down very easily. Walk your feet away from your hands a little more so that your heels do need to stretch. If they plunk easily on the floor like this, just walk back until you've got some space there to actually stretch out, okay? So just keep working through the heels. And then come into the center and press the heels down and go all the way up on your tiptoes. Squeeze your calves. Lift the sits bones super high so the backs of your thighs are high. Keep the sits bones up there as you lower the heels. And try that 2 more times. Go all the way up on your toes. Lift your sits bones super high. Keep your sits bones and the tops of your thighs up there. Lower your heels. And try that 1 more time. Lift. And then lower. Beautiful. So let's take the right shin forward here. And just kind of sitting, a little bit on the heel. Don't let your heel roll out too much. And then lift up through the chest. And circle those shoulders back, lifting and filling up the top of the sternum. So feel the top of the sternum really full, really wide. Let the ears go back. And if it feels good, if it's in your nature, in your practice, as your ears go back, you lift the chin and let the ears drop back. And getting more of a stretch at the base of your skull, or movement, I should say, energy movement at the base of your skull. And release as we press ourselves up into downward dog again. Widen your back and see if you can stretch the head down again at the base of the skull. So shake out your head, shake it, shake it, shake it, and nod it a few times. So right where your neck meets your skull, you want to try to release the stuck energy there. It gets pretty stuck there. All right, so left shin comes forward, and just feel that knee bend, ankle bend, foot. So you're going to come down into that shin on this side, on side 2. There you go. And we lift up, lift up, lift up. So you're on your fingertips if you want to. If that's too high for you, just go down a little bit. And we draw the belly in and squeeze through the buttocks to open up the hip. Roll the shoulders back, push the head back without lifting your chin. Just go straight back. And again, if it's good for you, you're going to go ahead and reach back. You let that head rock back. Beautiful. And we release and come flat on the tummy, all the way down. Bring the hands back and press the chops of the feet into the ground. Now, see if you can flatten out through that tailbone and draw the belly in. Reach up through the arms and inhale and exhale. Take the arms out to the side. Thumbs are going to be up. And we're going to start a little toning here for the arms. So we're going to go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then you'll take your right hand back with your palm up and your left hand forward with your palm down, and then switch them. Left hand back, palm up, right hand forward, palm down, and switch. So we're going to switch and switch. And get a good stretch, you guys. Every time you extend, stretch out those arms. Belly is in. 2 more. And 1 more. Beautiful. Press yourself up onto your knees. So you're going to be right up on your knees here. And hug the belly in. Lift up through the right leg. So you're not on all fours, but you're in a semi-plank on the knees. And you come down into a push-up for 4. Tummy's in. 3, 2, toning the arms, and 1. Drop the knee next to the other one and extend the left leg. Give it a good squeeze. Come forward as much as you can with your chest and come down for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Release all the way down. Press up into upward facing dog and come into child's pose. So I'm going to reach back into that child's pose and then come and have a seat. And we're going to do a little belly work for some of that toning. So I'm kind of mixing it up, the toning and the stretching this morning. So you're going to have your feet together, extend your legs out, and draw the belly in so that you can stretch open your back. Okay, so all these muscles here in the back are going to be super wide as the arms come out. The shoulders are back. Again, this kind of like this rim area where the skull and the neck meet. You want to get that area under the chin to be strong. You don't want to be, at this neck part, the center part, right? So right here under the jawline and scoop in the belly and widen through the back. Widen through the back of the head. Widen through middle, lower back. And suck in the belly and pulse back for 8. Hips are strong. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Now stay drawn in the belly and lean over to one side. And we go for 8. Hug in the belly. 7, 6, 5. Keep drawing it in, you guys. 4, 3, 2. And let's go to the other side for 8, 7, 6. Looks good. 5, 4, 3. Now keep drawing the belly in and go side to side for a set of 8. So we're going to go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Keep squeezing the belly. 3, 2, and 1. Rise up, rise up, rise up. Super, super tall. Legs are strong. I'm going to extend through the tops of the feet. Legs are really strong. Dive forward, but scoop and hollow the belly. So you're going to round out through that lumbar part of your back. And you're pressing the back as wide and as open as you can. And you keep the belly sucked in. And we're going to do the swim action we did on the belly. So the right arm goes back with the palm up. Left arm forward, palm down, and you switch for 8, 7, 6. Keep the belly strong. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Reach forward, rise up, open up through the arms. Bring the hands back, legs either straight or bent, so you can bend your knees on this one. Hug the belly in, keep your back wide, and lift. Pulse your hips up for 8, 7, 6, 5. Stay strong, you guys. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Lower down, tuck the knees in, come onto the back. Tuck the knees all the way into the chest. Keep the back nice and rounded. Inhale and exhale. Arms are going to come down by your side. Tuck the chin in, lift, stretching through the base of the skull here. Extend the right leg, stretch out the left. Stretch, and then tuck them together. Extend the left leg, stretch out the right. Keep your back wide, tuck it in, and stretch. Tuck it in, and stretch. And we're going to go for 4, and stretch, 3, and stretch, 2, and stretch. Last one. And then you're going to hold the stretch and then just scissor those legs for 8, 7, 6. Keep anchoring that lower belly. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the legs together, hands behind the head. Drop your legs down for 1. Squeeze the lower belly. Way down here, you guys, is where you're working. 2. Keep the back nice and flat. 4, 3. Go as far as you can without lifting your back. 1 more. And good. Tuck it all the way in. Get that nice reach in. And then lift the nose toward the knees. Shoulders down the back. And stretch out the left leg, squeeze in the right. Hug your hip in strong. And switch. And switch. So keep squeezing your tummy for 8. Lower belly active. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Hold that right leg in, stretch your left leg out, roll the shoulders back. Try to get your back as wide as you can. Square through the hips. Take your right arm out to the side, bring that right knee across to the left. Hug in through the hip flexor, the lower belly, the waist, and try to keep as much of your back on the floor as you can, especially that left side of your back. Try not to turn over to the left side. So you really want to hug in and squeeze through those hip flexors, letting that thigh almost roll in more. Lengthen through your spine as you do this. Open up the chest and the neck and the shoulders. So upper chest gets a good fill. All right, let's release it center. We'll do the same on the other side. So right leg super straight. Left knee comes in. Left arm goes out. Bring the leg across. Okay, left leg across. Make sure you guys stay on that right side of your back. You don't roll to the side of your right hip. We're breathing in, breathing out. Really moving into that hip flexor. And inhale and exhale, filling up your back, filling up your chest, upper chest, nice and high. 2 more breaths. And 1. Beautiful. All right, let's bring it in. And we've got 1 more on the back here before we come into some of our standing stretches. Feet are grounded. Tuck your tailbone under and squeeze the glutes as you rise up. So you're tucking the tail under. You're getting that little pelvic tilt here this morning. Squeeze the center of your glutes, hug the hips and the belly strong, and shoulders roll back. And we'll start the pulse for 8, 7, ribs strong, 6, hold the rib cage strong, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lower down one vertebra at a time. Keep the shoulders nice and wide. And tuck in and rock yourself up to seated. And then rock yourself into a squat. So you're going to separate your feet, come forward into a squat, and bring the hands right inside the knees. So you can open up the knees and the hips. We didn't forget about our squats. We've been doing those, right? So we're trying to elongate through the lower back and then stretch the arms as far forward as you can. If you have like a couch just conveniently in front of you, you can grab it and stretch even further, or just reaching and sink your hips back more and stretch your lower back and the base of your spine forward more. Inhale and exhale. Beautiful. Bring the hands back in, lift through the chest, rise up, rise up, rise up. Bring your feet together, tailbone nice and strong, lift up. So as we come into this mountain pose, heels, toes together, feet are grounded, your legs are toning, nice and strong as always, and that tailbone, pubic bone are pulling straight down, the very bottom tips of them. And we lift up through the belly, so you reach in here and pull up tall as you lengthen down and stretch through the hips. So keep finding that inner strength, it's all inside. And we'll come over to the side here, get a nice stretch, and roll back like you're gonna lean back and look up at the ceiling on your left side and have your hip here come down. All right, so the hip comes down, the belly and the shoulders go back. Breathe in, breathe out. Use your breath to help you go further. Let the head relax. All right, and we'll come up and we'll try the other side. So we just start by coming over to the side, and then we go and twist from the belly button all the way up to the shoulder. So get that reach, and then your hip here comes down. So we're inhaling and exhaling, breathing in, breathing out, letting that head roll back. Beautiful. Bringing it back into the center. Lock your hands behind the head. Feel the base of the skull nice and loose. Tuck the chin in and start to roll down. Now your knees can be bent or straight. That's your call. All right. So, but you do want to hold the back of the head in the stretch. You're in this forward bend stretch. And you're starting to move the shoulder blades away from the ears. So you move your shoulders back a little more. Belly's drawn in, your hip flexors are narrowed, so your hips are narrowed in, everything's nice and strong, and breathe in, breathe out. And release the hands to the floor, your legs, wherever you can, and then start to straighten out your legs. So right here, you guys, your hamstrings at the top here are pulling up to the sky. So you can put your hands there and lift from there up and over. Breathe in, breathe out, and try to bow a little closer so you can bring the hands and squeeze the belly, activate the ribs. All right, hands are gonna come down to the ground, left leg is gonna go back, right knee opens up into warrior one. So nice warrior one stretch, press into the hips a little bit more, squeeze through the belly, yeah. So arms are up, right knee bends, and you're gonna lean over, right? So away from the left side. So you're gonna feel a stretch all up that left side. And again, like we did in the side bend, you can twist that upper shoulder and roll that hip down a little bit more. Breathe deeply. And then open up and come into your warrior two and gaze over that right middle finger. So you guys are pulling open this hip flexor right here, and you're squeezing your glute to do it. Tailbone straight down, and you're having this great strength through this left leg. As you breathe in and breathe out. Now you're gonna bring that left hand behind your head, pull the elbow back and reach up. Turn your palm and keep squeezing that left elbow down toward your left knee. Don't let the knee sag. Keep squeezing it as you breathe in, breathe out, sink into the hips a little more, and coming into triangle pose, extend the body, extend the legs, and coming inside the hip. So here today, we're coming inside and rolling down into the joint of the hip. And I want you guys to try to think about just sending your lower belly, that spine, down, 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 inside that leg. As you lengthen to the crown of your head, roll the shoulders, tailbone strong, inhaling and exhaling. And we rise up and twist, so same everything. Just come around into your twist, squeeze into your hips, squeeze your inner thighs, make sure that right hip turns into the left hip turns into the right hip. Extend the arms and come down as your other arm reaches away. So now you're trying to go to the outside, and this is gonna stretch that IT band on the right side. That's this right here. So you're gonna pull the IT band. You're really gonna pull the outside of your right hip up and the side of that right knee down. Okay, so pull through that outer leg a little bit more, you guys, and keep stretching and finding length. Breathe, breathe, breathe. All right, let's release. Step your back leg in. Now see if you can find that IT band release in a forward bend. So right here, the sides of the legs or the sides of the hips lift up, sides of the knees charge down, and see if you can lengthen the IT band a little bit more. And you can sway your upper body like side to side if you like to. Just let the head drop, shoulders back. 2 more breaths. And 1. Okay, right leg is gonna step back. Left knee is going to bend. Coming up into warrior 1. So left knee in front, right leg is back. Rise up, or do side 2, whatever you didn't do this side. And see if you can come down into your hip a little smarter here. All right, a little more intelligence as we do this practice. Tailbone is down, rise up, draw the belly in, and lean, away from, so you can feel the stretch on that right side of your body. If you're leaning to the left, feeling the stretch on that right side, and maybe roll that shoulder back and that hip down a little bit more. On that right side, breathe deeply. Love it. Open up, you guys. Open into warrior 2. So we come down, we spread those arms. Looks good. All right, turn and gaze to your left middle finger, shoulders spread here, and you're turning at that skull there, right? And you come down, opening up this hip flexor. So right up here from the hip, all the way out, you're rolling that open. Other leg super strong. Sink the tailbone straight down and bring the right hand behind your head. Pull back, lean back and squeeze that right elbow to the knee and make sure your knee is strong. Turn your palm in, gaze up at it as you keep trying to come into your bend a little more. Inhale, exhale. And then we rise up for triangle pose. So we straighten out the legs, make any adjustment at your feet, maybe turn that right foot in, and we come down into the inside of the leg. So get that spine to come down. Pull up super tall. Back is wide. And lengthen through the chest. Turn the chin up. Breathing deeply. 2 more breaths. And rise up with leg strength and power and come into triangle pose with a revolved action. So we come around. And again, as you come into this, you're hugging your hips in, and then you'll bring that right hand down to the outside of your leg, and you're stretching that IT band. So the top of the left hip on the outside goes upward, and the side of the left knee goes downward. So you're really getting a stretch through the IT band. That's this muscle is not muscle, tendon right here on the side. So you're pulling the hip up and that leg down, chest is full at the top, breathing is deep all the way around. Beautiful. Okay, let's unwind and get super wide. So change however you need to change so you can get into your wide position, wide leg. Make sure your feet are aligned. So one foot is not more in front of the other. Hips are nice and strong. Find length, length, length. Top of the sternum is full. Shoulders are wide. Open up. So with this stretch, stretch from here, from the collar, pull the belly in, breathing out. Hinge forward, stretch the IT band area, so the outer legs get that stretch. Grab hold of the outside of your lower legs. Pull the sides of the hips up. Stretch downward as much as you can through the feet. Pressing in through the big toe part, but not letting your arches collapse. And hug and narrow in through the hips. 2 more breaths. Bring the hands behind the back, clasp, palms together, wrists straight. Squeeze those outer shoulders. Keep the belly in. Reach the arms all the way over, guys. Beautiful. Release the hands and lunge over to the right side. So you're going to turn, like I'll turn my right foot. And you're angled forward, so your upper body is still forward, as deep as you can be forward. So don't lift your chest on this one. I know a lot of times I say lift your chest, but on this one, don't lift your chest. Just go into the deepest squat to the right and stretch for the left, inner part of your leg. Breathe in, breathe out. So I have my foot turned in and down. All right, and let's try the other side. So we'll come up and over. Don't change your feet until you get to a middle point, and then you can turn the right toes in and the left toes out. That's comfort for your knee. It has to always have knee track over the toes. So you guys get your torso nice and flat, and come down into that left hip squat. Right inner part of your hip, inner thigh stretch. And go as deep as you can. So you're flattening down. Almost going to feel like your lower belly is going to flatten to the floor. Stay in your heel of the left foot. Beautiful. Come right into the center. Woo! Bring your hands to your hips. Rise up. Oh yeah. And press your hands right behind your hips and open into a back bend. So you can stay right here in your back bend. You can bring your hands to your chest or your arms over your head. I'm going to stay here for just a sec because I want to make sure that you guys have your hips forward, no twists or rotation. Your legs are strong. And if you feel like bringing the arms up and going back, filling up the chest. If it feels good to let your head drop, please do it. Nice. And then rise up and turn back to your front part or come back into the center, right? And bringing those feet together. Love it, you guys. All right. Bring the hands to the heart. We're just going to take it into a little prayer twist here. So we come down into a squat, right into those hips. Draw the navel in and twist to the left. Keeping the core strong. Open up the upper chest. Fill it up. Now take your top arm behind your back. And go way to your right hip. Go all the way to your right hip or right inner thigh. And bring the other arm underneath as if you're going to join hands. Slowly release. Come on up. Bring the hands again. Nice. Looks so good this morning, you guys. Come on down. Squeeze into the hips. Twist over to the right. Sink low, open up. And taking your top arm behind your back, reaching as far as you can to the other leg, and taking that left arm and bending it underneath if you can. If you can't, don't worry about it. Just keep feeling the stretch. Beautiful. Unwind, rise up, hips open again. And to come down, we're going to come down like this. You're going to take your left knee, shin, and you're gonna kneel down into it. Okay, so you're gonna be in this kneeling position. So your left knee, and your right foot can come a little more forward for stability, or it can come off to the side for stability. But we're gonna be working on this left hip. So we're gonna stretch the arms forward and keep, I'm gonna turn to the side so hopefully you guys can see a little bit better. That your tail is tucked and your butt is squeezing against the hip, okay? So you don't wanna slouch your back and you don't wanna sag in through the pelvis. You wanna keep that pelvis nice and strong and press open the hip by squeezing the glute and the buttock. So press it open for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then we're gonna switch, so you can switch however you wanna switch. You can bring one foot back and one foot forward, whatever works for you, but we're going for right hip and left can come back. So we're gonna squeeze open this hip. Yep, we're gonna do a little bit of toning for the legs next section. So again, you wanna keep this nice and strong, hands in front. The tailbone has a tendency, or the really down at the base of the spine, has a tendency to swing either right or left. So you want to try to draw it straight down as best you can and open here by squeezing your butt. And you're going to pulse it for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. So we're going to come right onto the side. We're going to do this little exercise for your hip rotation and strength of the glutes. And you'll be on your side, doesn't matter which side, because you do side 1 and side 2. So elbow is down and keep this rib cage nice and taut, nice and firm. Knees are gonna come out in front of you. And lift up your top knee and ankle, and make sure your top knee is right above the bottom knee. It doesn't go forward or too far back. Just have your best alignment. You're gonna rotate in at the thigh so that foot goes up and that knee comes down. And then you'll bring it back to neutral, so your ankle never drops. Okay, so we come 1 and neutral, 2 and neutral, 3, try to stretch at the bottom, 4, belly strong, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now you're gonna keep that rolled in, kick it out and back. Keep it rolled in, kick it out and back. 2 more. Kick it out, keep it rolled in, and 1. Now you're gonna keep it rolled in and then come back into a hamstring stretch. Now I'm not moving my ribs or my back, that stays strong. You're trying to open up your hip like we did in that kneeling position by squeezing your bum for 8. But I have it rolled in so the knee is in and down. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we'll bring those feet together, let all the way down, extend top and bottom legs. You're gonna be on your side. So top and bottom leg extend, and you can have your head up or your head can be relaxing down. Lift your top leg a little higher than your hip and have your bottom leg work to get up there. Work to get up there. Work to get up there. Shoulders back, goes 4, 3, 2, and then squeeze them together and lift them both for 8. Bottom leg's really lifting it. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. All right, we're gonna try side 2, getting this leg toning on side 2. Now we'll come back into our deep stretches. So as you come onto your side 2, shoulder shouldn't be forward, okay? So we're rolling that back. And your rib cage is nice and firm. Okay, so lower belly's in, knees are up out in front. We lift up this top leg, looks good. Make sure ankle, knee, and this knee shouldn't be too far in front or too far back. Align them the best you can. Like we did on the other side, you roll the knee in and then you come back to neutral, never letting your foot drop. So we go in and then to neutral. 7, neutral. 6, neutral. 5, low belly strong. 4, 3, so good you guys. 2, and 1. Now hold it rolled in, okay? So hold it rolled in and we kick out for 4, 3, good, 2, nice, and 1. Now you're gonna keep it rolled in and you're gonna bring it back, but keep it rolled inward and bring it back, and you're opening up your hip, squeezing the buttocks, and keep pressing open the hip by pushing your leg back a little bit more for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Bring it all the way in. Come all the way down. Just like pop up here or down there and stretch. Woohoo! Okay, so on this stretch, bring your top leg a little higher. Let that bottom leg, whoops, work for it. Okay, so we're going to go for 8. Let it work for it. 7, it's got to go a little higher. 6, 5, try to stretch it. 4, 3, 2, and then connect them and let them both go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo, yeah. I'm gonna flip right on the belly, stretch back in the child's pose, open up your hips. So you're gonna open your knees up, you guys, nice and wide, and stretch into this child's pose, opening up through the hips. Sink into the right one, sink into the left one, come forward into frog pose. So we'll come forward and open up those knees, open up in through the hip flexors. Roll your upper thighs out, draw your navel in, draw the shoulders down. So see if you can get this saggy part of your back to lift up and get a little more open. 2 more breaths. And 1, beautiful. Come all the way forward onto the tummy, walk your legs in, and tuck your tailbone under so you can press your hips into the floor. And as you do that, reach that right foot and catch it. Now use the strap if you want to, but get that tailbone into a good tuck, and make sure your knee is rolled in and not out. You're gonna squeeze that leg in, hug the belly in, and lift the knee if you can up off the ground. All right, never hurting the knee, okay guys? So release that down, and if you feel anything in the knee, you're gonna back off or not do it at all. So tuck the tailbone, squeeze the buttock, and getting into that tip of the pelvis so that your hip can stay down. Catch hold of the foot. And again, make sure that your hip is pressing down, and you can grab the foot with 2 hands or just with 1. But see if you can lift that knee a little more. 2 more breaths. And 1. Beautiful. Release and come back into kneeling. And we're going to come into our hero pose. And on this one, your knees are going to be a little close together and your feet are going to be apart. And you're either sitting on the floor or sitting on cushions or sitting on the yoga blocks. So knees in just a little, not too much, heels out to the side. You still don't want your knees to be touching each other. They're going to be apart a little bit. And you want those shins nice and strong. So part of this is stretching through the IT band, the quads, the front of the knees are going to get a gentle stretch. Again, nothing that is going to be hurting the knees. So we'll come back. So if you're on a block or on the cushion, you may just want to stay here and just work on this, getting to the floor. It's your call. Or you can start to come back. Just stretch the knees away from the hips and pull the hips gently, always working gently, back. So tucking the tailbone under when you get here, and do a pelvic tilt. So I want you to tip the pelvis and squeeze the buttocks. And really get that good squeeze at the buttocks. And start to come down even more if it's right for you. If it's in your practice to come down more, you're going to do it. Otherwise, just stay where you are. And you're inhaling and exhaling. Nice inhale and exhale, you guys. All right. And so we'll come up, excuse me, and we're going to do a one-legged. So if you need to take a break out of this, go for it. Otherwise, you're going to step your right foot out and keep the left leg in. And you'll turn that knee a little bit so it's right in line with your hip. So you have this nice stretch here. Same thing, you're just going to push back or come back. If your knee pops up like this, just work it down, or you can use your other foot to kind of hammer it down a little bit, but you are stretching your hip here away from the knee. So you're getting a gentle pull, nothing too aggressive because the muscles like to stretch slowly. If you pull them too hard, they'll just get tighter in this kind of like fight. So soften and go easy. And if you come all the way down like that and your knee pops up, you can again use the other foot to hold it down or just kind of scooch yourself into that stretch a little bit more. So you're breathing in and breathing out, trying to get the knee to stretch away from the hip. Once the hip is settled, tucking that tailbone under and squeezing through the glute. All right, rise up and we'll take it to the other side. So how you like to get there is I'll probably just take this one out and then tuck the other one. If you'd rather do it the other way, tuck and then change, do that way. Yeah, good. So again, making sure that you have a good position to your hips and you're not slanted over to the side, and you start to come back, keeping the knee down or doing your best to keep it down, but you're moving the hips away. And again, if you come down and the knee pops up, just use this other foot as like your steering wheel, just kind of move you around in the right place. And you want to go all the way down, you go all the way down, yeah. This is your thing, right? You're gonna feel what feels right. You're gonna tuck. If you're all the way down like this, you're squeezing the buttock of that right hip and moving the knee away from the hip into a gentle stretch. 2 more breaths, you guys. And then when you're ready, rise up, woohoo. All right, release, rub out those knees a little bit. Come forward into a forward bend. Legs are gonna be straight, ankles together. Okay, draw the hips in. So you guys are narrowing in your hips right here. Hug these in, narrow them in. You're gonna scoop out the belly and widen your back. So make your back, lumbar part of your back, super wide. Flexing at the base of the shoulder blades. So getting that wide. And let the tops of the shoulders roll down to stretch out the back of the neck. So this is that nice spine stretch forward. Toning up the legs, pulling right here, you guys, the sides of the hips back, the feet are pulling forward, and we're inhaling and exhaling, and again, letting that head charge down, and exhale. Beautiful. So rise up when you're ready, roll the shoulders back, and just bring that right knee in and that left leg back. Yeah, so you're in this like zigzag seat, the knees will be aligned, and we're just gonna sit like this. Just make this your natural way of sitting. You're gonna try to get your right sitting bone out and your left sitting bone down, and right at the base of your spine, the coccyx bone, that coccyx bone should kind of curl under a little bit. So you get this like a little J hook of the coccyx bone right at the base. Sometimes it scoops over to the right or the left, so you try to maneuver it as best you can. You could use your hands to get you centered so you don't have this shift over to one side. Your hands can be on the floor if you want to. Roll those shoulders back. Just lean the ear over to one side. You're going to circle the head around and go the other way to the other side and circle around. Now your rotation is coming from the base of your skull. If you don't know what that is, put your hands at the bottom of your skull where it protrudes to where it meets your neck, and see if you can make that your rotation spot, that your rotation point. And then when you feel like it's good for you to change, you've done a complete circle, just go the other way. So you're doing like 2 or 3 of these rotations. Beautiful. All right. And then once you've finished the rotations, take your left hip, when you're ready, and sink it backwards. So you're going to rotate back into this hip. Okay, so your thigh is going to get this rotation back. So you're sitting down, and we'll reach up and over and scoop into the belly here. So your back, the lumbar part of the back is nice and wide, and the chest is full at the top. and go as deep as you can. And again, if it bothers your knee, just stop. Don't go any further because you definitely want to feel it at the hip. And that's what will happen. The hip will kind of stop moving and then you'll start to press into the knee. So sink into the hip the best you can. And then we'll rise up and catch that elbow and pull it behind you and just stretch out that tricep shoulder area, hugging the belly in and just breathing in and breathing out, getting that really nice stretch, you guys. Beautiful. All right. And then we're going to come back and take that arm and stretch it back. So you're going to get the stretch at the chest and bring it as far back as you can and twist over. So you're going to get the stretch at the chest here. Just twist, twist, twist. And then keep that hand there, but come back to center and take your left hip and roll it forward. So the hip is going to come up off of the floor. You're going to squeeze your booty. So you're going to really get that like pelvic tilt, tailbone tuck, squeeze that hip open, and then rise up. So this is going to get your quad, stretch the psoas, draw the belly in, and lift up. But you're also filling up the upper chest. You're stretching the neck. So you can kind of move that head around, little right, left, to release the tightness. And then slowly release, let that come down, and we'll take it to the other side. Nice. All right. So we're going to take it to side two and have those knees apart like we did on the other side. And again, this leg can be straight if you can't bend it, so don't forget about that. You can keep that extended out. But when you're ready, you'll take hold of this right hip and move it backwards so you have this rotation or this opening and you're sitting on both sitting bones. Okay, so you're just going to kind of find a balanced, comfortable seat. It might not be possible. You might need a cushion under the cheek. I get that, right? But do your best and then just start to rotate the neck around. And then when you're ready, do about 2 or 3. Some of you guys go faster, some of you guys go a little slower, and then go the other way. So your call. Beautiful. And we'll come right into the center and lift up this left arm and come over. There you go. And you are trying to come down into this right hip. You may feel something in the knee. Again, I don't think it's a good idea to feel anything in the knee. A gentle stretch is okay around the knees, but nothing that is painful or sharp. Breathe, breathe, breathe. All right, we'll rise up and bring that hand back and grab hold of the elbow and stretch that outer shoulder. Yes, there you go. Get a really big stretch, you guys. Pull it back as much as you can. Squeeze the back of the shoulder and your bicep. And then when you're ready, release. Bring that arm out to the side. There you go. Nice. Stretch out the chest by turning. So keep that arm all the way back or as far back as you can. And then turn away till you get that stretch at the chest. You can also put your hand at your sternum like this and just pull from there. So if you don't have the strength to pull, you can just use your hand to get the sternum to come into the twist. And then come onto the center, take this right hip and lift it from the ground. Now you're gonna squeeze your butt. So you're doing like that pelvic tilt, squeeze the butt to open the hip, and then rise up and keep squeezing the butt. So you're inhaling and exhaling, letting the head drop back, shoulders drop back. Oh yeah. Nice job, you guys. All right, beautiful. And we're just gonna come in, oh yeah. Come onto the back and just kind of rock your hips a little bit with the feet wide, rolling them in and out, getting the low back to get some movement when you do this. Maybe that tailbone, maybe below the tailbone. And just roll one leg in, hold it in, let the neck relax, let the low belly and low back release. Keep your rib cage soft, but down so that your ribs don't flare out in this stretch. And we'll try the other side. So you're gonna roll in on side 2. And you're breathing in, breathing out. We're letting it come down. Keep the rib cage nice and soft. Beautiful. Let's take it in, extend through the legs, and just hug in through your belly. So right here, just kind of soften your ribs, soften through the lower belly, hug those hips in, grab hold of the back of your legs. Now you don't have to go any further than this, but if you're feeling like you want to do this with me, just bend your knees, circle your ankles a little bit, not a big bend, okay? So just circle the ankles, circle them the other way, keeping the tendons nice and relaxed. And just gently start to pull your legs in toward your chest and gently lifting just the tip of your tailbone up off the yoga mat. So you're stretching from the tip of the tailbone. Try not to go all the way up into your mid-back. Just try to bring that little bottom part up and in. And those legs can come up a little bit more. But just don't flex your pelvis too much or the low back. Beautiful. And we'll cross the right thigh over the left, tucking the knees in. Get a good stretch here, you guys, the size of the hips. And fold your legs in a little bit more. And then you're going to bring your knees to the left and your arms to the right. So what I really want to encourage everybody to do is just to pause on this and maybe don't go and do what feels really good because you'll be working into your already flexible point. So I would encourage you to restrict the areas that are loose. So maybe if it's your back, it's a little loose, just restrict. And maybe start to go into your tighter areas, right? So maybe the hip, the outer thigh, the IT band, the glute, whatever that tighter area is, the part that feels like, well, I can't move without, lifting my back up or without, doing something else, right? So just try to restrict those loose parts. Encourage the tighter parts to release. And then come in and we'll switch. So we'll have that left thigh over the right, tucking in and bringing the legs in a little bit more. Breathing, breathing, breathing. All right, and then we'll bring those legs over to the left side and the arms to the right. So again, same deal, restrict those wiggly parts. restrict the looseness and encourage those parts of the body that are kind of stuck and stiff and the energy is not moving to move a little bit more. So you're breathing as you do it. All right, and we'll release and let that go and sending the legs open. All right, beautiful. So shoulders are gonna roll back. Your back is gonna be wide. Rib cage is down. Roll the shoulders back, head is in the center. Let your ankles and wrists relax. Let the soles of your feet and palms of your hands soften. Turn your attention to your breathing and practice encouraging a good, strong oxygenation of the body here. So the body's very relaxed and you continue to relax multiple parts of the body while you fill up your lungs and empty your lungs. So we've been doing that super oxygenation, breathing as much as you can and emptying, right? So that you can continue to get in fresh oxygen into the body, encouraging repair and healing. While doing this, you keep the eyes soft, forehead soft, cheeks soft, shoulders soft. So your face looks like or feels like you are just about to smile. It's a very relaxed facial expression. Throat is relaxed, chest, upper back. You can just be here for a little bit longer, just releasing any tension from the upper back, shoulders, neck, and jaw. And then when you are ready to come out of Shavasana, just open your eyes, start to move your wrists, bend your knees, rocking your knees a little bit, hang out on your side for a bit before you come up to seated. So you're just gonna roll to your side for a little bit, come on up to seated when you are ready, when it's your time to be seated, right? When you feel like it's good alignment and good times. Right. So we're going to roll open those shoulders and encourage this filling up at the chest. Okay, so the very top of your sternum right here. A lot of times, remember, that closes down when you come up to seated, and we're struggling to get this open. So find your sternum, find the top of it, lift the top of it, keep it full, right? So nice to do that. Bring the hands together in front of the heart. Yeah. A good calm attitude into the mind, into the heart, into the body, right? So this calm and positive mindset, optimistic, hopeful. Keep focusing on the good things and the right things and the true things, and don't get led astray by some of the nonsense that goes on around us. Thank you guys. Namaste. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. I hope to see you Friday.